We're back, Jen and Brittany.
Hola.
These are galaxy jars. Not yet, of course, but they will be. So, for this craft, what you need is a mason jar. It doesn't have to be this big. You can do half the size, you can do small, you can do wide mouth, narrow mouth. Whatever jar you want to use is good. Basically, to make it probably the coolest you can possibly, you'll also want to get some glow-in-the-dark paint. Blue and green mainly for the space sky. You can get, red and orange for, nebulas, yellow for stars. The idea, first of all, is to start with the blue or the green. You open your jar and just sort of spray a bunch in all over. You can use as much or as little as you want. You can also, if you wanted to, put a little bit of water in here to shake it around. You can just sort of put it how you want it. The hardest part about this one is letting it dry in between layers. So the first layer is the night sky, and you want to let this dry. Like I said, either like this, or you can take a brush inside it to make it smaller. Where's my brush? Put everything away. There we go. You could stick your brush inside and just kind of smear it around if you wanted to. You could put a little bit of water in and shake it up. Cover as much of it as you wanted to, as little as you want to. Would you like to spread yours around?
Yes.
And then, yep, you just wait for this to dry. Once it's dry, we can start adding things like nebula, stars. And again, with each layer, you can leave it as a blob or spread it around depending on the look you want. These are completely up to you and how you want them to look.
You'll likely be using a smaller jar too, but this is all we found at Walmart.
True. We got jars at Walmart, at Michael's, at
Joann's, Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, farm stores, depending on where you are. Maybe ask Grandma if she has any.
Your grandmother's pantry.
So, yeah.
We're just going to let these dry, and we will be back to show you the next step.
Yep. Okay, so we're back. Our galaxy jars are now dry of the sky. Don't be alarmed if they're not super dark. You can put another layer on if you want them to be a little bit darker. You can use non-glow-in-the-dark blues and purples for the sky if you'd like. Just make sure that it's thin enough that you can see your stars. Now, this is what we generally used for the sky. Now today, dry, we'll use this for stars, this for nebula. We can go back and add this to nebula too. Nebula, you can use a slightly larger brush. Stars, generally the idea is to use a smaller one for dot. If you happen to put it in a dish, which, you can, if it's wide enough, flick it in too, for more of a random effect for stars. Either way, it's your jar. There's no wrong way to do it. These are cheap brushes that you can get in watercolor sets. This is a slightly more expensive brush that I got at Michael's. Is a set with this big one and one that was smaller. But I'm trying to keep that one nice. This one I'm okay with mangling. So, I don't know if you want to get started, Brittany.
Okay.
Stars or nebula.
And we're just going to dot these in.
Yep. dot it in. You can use a brush if you want to. And then if I want to do a swirly nebula, I don't want to drip on my, and then with some pink. Maybe put it right here. For the stars in the nebula, you want to keep them kind of thick so that when they glow through your sky. If you make them too thin, they're going to blend in with your sky instead. And if you don't have a broken finger and you can get your hand in the jar better than I can, you can do whatever designs you want for nebula or space clouds. Randomizing your stars however you'd like. It's not helpful when you have your dominant hand incapacitated.
So don't injure yourself right before you do this.
Right. Trying to make a cloud. What do you think?
I'm a fan. Kind of reminds me of like the Starry Night painting.
A bit.
Or the exploding TARDIS version.
Yes.
I actually have that poster. Exploding TARDIS.
Nice. And again, once you're done with this, you really want to let them sit overnight to dry before you start putting anything in them. These jars, you know, if they're this big, really can be used for anything. Trinket jars, if you have long brushes or, you know, coins that you want to save. If it's a smaller jar like this, you can use them as pencil cups, office supply, like paper clips and pins. But what we were talking about is maybe just using it as a statement piece and putting a little battery operated strand of fairy lights inside. That would be pretty as well.
That would make a very pretty nightlight. Or just, you know, just cool.
Yeah.
Just look cool.
Yeah. They're probably not heavy enough to use as bookends, but they might look cute in a bookcase that's not full of books. I've just got one more and you can have this.
Okay.
There you are.
And this you're just doing clouds with?
Yep. So, let's see. They can be whatever shape you want. That's a little drift. I am just not left-handed.
Yeah, I was trying to do that too, but I think I'm a little chunky in the hand department.
I squeezed like a rat. through a little hole. Just wanted to get a little lower than I probably can with my brush. You know, and if you're really keen on star formations and you want to put actual constellations, more power to you. That would look really cool, but I'm okay with random.
There is no right or wrong.
There is no right or wrong. It is your creation. Make it what you want. Like I said, just with your nebula and stars, just make sure they're thick enough to shine through. That's cute. Huh. Probably lifting it higher than it should be. That's okay. Just want to put a couple near my top too. So it'll look a little bit maybe like a mess at first, but I think once you're finished and it's all dry and you've got it where you want it, it's gonna look pretty cool. Especially if you use glow-in-the-dark paint. You can put it under a black light. Now we just have to let these dry. All right.
Cool beans.